Okay, let's get started. This is the Red Business Development Mastermind call for November 2021. It's our last call of the year, and so we have reason to celebrate. So I thought what I'd do is I'd add to the usual check-in. Let's spend also a minute talking about what are you celebrating for the year? So not just progress in this last month, which is cool, and we want to hear about that, but also what has been your progress over this last year? We've been through a fair bit of a journey together. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, cool.
I'm celebrating getting my my PCC.
Excellent.
Ooh,
We love it.
Only thing I have left is the knowledge assessment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I found to be pretty straightforward, actually. I spent some time, actually it was the day after Thanksgiving last year. And so what I did is I spent a few hours just trying to get my mind around, okay, so what are the core competencies and what is the code of conduct and all of that stuff. And then right after lunch, I just hopped into the test and took it. And as soon as I hit submit, it comes back a second later and says, you've passed. It's like, wow, that's cool. So anyway, yeah, I think you'll do very, very well on that.
Is there some place you can practice on it?
I just went through the ICF website and I looked up core competencies and code of ethics.
Okay.
And that's what I spent the time on, and that covered it. Okay. You know, so. Okay, so that's fabulous news. So what else is going on with you?
Well, the prison project in Oklahoma is taken off. My two volunteers that came out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
One spent 12 years there, and the other one about 8. And they've been through all the CTI courses.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scheduled for certification in January.
Fabulous.
And they're really kicking butt.
That's fantastic. So are you their coach, or are you taking a mentor coach role, or what?
I'm their mentor coach. Yeah.
Mentor coach. Okay. Awesome.
Yep. I'm their PCC CPCC coach for certification.
You need some more initials there, Rule.
ABC.
Yeah. So very cool.
What is this type of coaching that you guys mentioned?
Do what?
What is he doing with the prisoners? There is a specific name for this?
I've been teaching coaching in prisons for 20 years.
Wow.
Inmates to be coaches, and a couple of them got out. A bunch of them get out. And we now have something called coaching beyond the fences for people who get out of prison. And
that's so nice.
Yeah. It's really good. Yep.
Fabulous. Anything else, Rule?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm celebrating.
Rule, do you think you can be a mentor for me to take my PCC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and also since I got mine last year, Bettina, if you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer whatever you're going through. And of course, Walt's group is the best at this.
Yeah.
So
when are you getting your when do you start your certification?
My big problem is that the school that I did in Brazil, it's not attached, not related to ICF. So, or I do another training next year, or I convince them to be certified. So I'm
Okay.
working on that to be able to shortcut the path.
Okay, put your email address in the chat room.
I will do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the announcements that I send out copy everybody. And so you can grab her email off of that.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, awesome. Thank you, Roel. Who would like to go next?
I'm happy to jump in.
Thank you. I can wait forever.
So, I guess we're talking about coaching as far as like kind of what accomplishments we've had coaching wise throughout the year.
Yeah, and how has your business development progressed?
Sure.
What progress have you made there? So,
okay. Yeah, so I jumped into this mastermind class. Obviously, I think most of you know a little bit later. So I am celebrating signing my first client. We had our first session.
Yay.
Yeah, it was exciting. Our first session last Thursday. And I am also looking forward to just making some adjustments to my website now that I am certified in axiogenics. So I got that news as well last Monday that I am now certified in axiogenics. So that's super exciting. And I think it'll be good timing just kind of moving into the new year. I'm talking to, a few potential clients who are looking forward to hopefully working together. And I think those are the two main things. And obviously just graduating from the CEG program from Coach U and getting that taken care of. And I'll be working towards ACC most likely the beginning of next year.
Yeah, excellent. Boy, this has been a watershed year for you, Jordan. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and ultimately just taking the leap and leaving my my job to really pursue this and make it work. That was an accomplishment, but a scary one at the same time.
Yeah, not a little stressful there,
Yeah.
but keep with it and you'll do just fine. So
thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Who's next? All right, Beth.
Yes, at the beginning of the year, I finished my ACC coaching school, and then I finished my 100 hours, and I need to look into the mentor process more. I almost had a mentor, but then it fell through. So I'm curious what you mean with this group from Walt, and does it apply to ACC?
Yeah, so the group I'm talking about, and I'm pretty sure he's going to continue it next year, is the coaching competencies and certification group. Meets once a month. It's one of the education groups. And so he spends each session walking deeply through a core competency. And then he also helps people to get their ACC or PCC or MCC. And so he's done several things this year focused on that. So get hooked up with Walt. He's brilliant at this, and he's been doing it for several years now.
I think I'm going to that group on Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday at 1 o'clock or something like that.
Great.
I don't remember which week, but yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So what else?
There's another person taking his place starting January.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll get
Did
you.
not know that. That's cool.
So getting connected to this group helped me get insurance, and I wrote up a thing for the Denver business school group, and I didn't get chosen, but at least I moved forward on some things. And I've been making videos and sending newsletters, and my mailing list is at 170 right now. I had, before the spring came, I had some decent people coming to online workshops, but it's dropped off with things opening up from COVID. So I'm still trying to figure out how to get a bigger presence with more ideal clients who are willing to pay for my services. And one step in that direction is putting a proposal to the League of Women Voters last week for 2 possible workshops to do with them.
Any response from that?
I'm waiting.
Okay.
We had a conversation with some of the board members a few weeks ago, so we'll see. And starting to look into mentorship for the ACC certification. What else? Always working on my website, maybe getting some outside help with it soon, because I can only do what I know and other people might know other things.
Yeah, if that's not something you want to dive into, then there's plenty of people that can help with that.
Yeah, and I've started networking, which is, as an introvert, is somewhat challenging, but I'm just like, okay, just meet people, so.
Okay, very cool. So, yeah, what wonderful progress that you've been having there. That's really awesome. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Hey, Jenny.
So, hi. So I'm almost up to 200 hours of coaching. And I've offered my moving forward from grief and loss class, which I've developed. And I attended a seminar on marketing, a couple of seminars on marketing myself and getting a social media presence. Wrote 3 books. I got an LLC, Mountaintop Coaching, and I got insurance. And I'm talking with a self-publishing person that seems hopeful. So I need to, on top of my pay job. So I'm moving forward slowly but surely. And I'm grateful for this group. And I've attended every time. And then also I attend the group on Friday.
Yeah, you get extra credit for that, the frequent flyer card. We punched the last one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Suzanne and Chad, one of the things I added to the check-in this time is let's also look back on accomplishments for the year and how much progress you've made. So that's why we're taking a little bit longer view of this than just what progress have I made last month. So, okay, who's next? I'm sorry?
So just what you've accomplished in the past year?
Yeah. Since this is our last meeting for the year.
Gotcha.
I thought it's a great chance to celebrate the rather significant and impressive progress that everybody's made.
Right.
It seems like month to month. Sometimes it doesn't seem like all that much, but man, when you look at it in year scale, it's like, wow, things are really, really advanced. So. Okay.
I can go next.
Okay.
Thanks for this group, Carl. It's amazing having your emotional support. I think the support you have from the chamber, I have from your group here. So big accomplishment this year was to be part of the Wood Badge. Wood Badge is the highest training on scouting. I really like to make a change on the kids' life. So I was getting ready for that. Took me 3 years to get into this training. It's not easy, but it was very important. Now I have 5 tickets, things that I want to accomplish to get the final certificate. And one of the things was to launch my happiness journey program. And I have 6 paid clients. My intention is to have 8. I have 6 so far. They're going to start December 6th. I'm working on the content. I have a ghostwriter helping me. That's also a coach. He's amazing. And I was able, with all this process of launching the app, to rebrand my coaching company with a new logo, new identification. I'm so happy with the outcome of it. And this year, I also enrolled for a service called Social Bee. They are in Europe. It's a company who help you on your social media presence. And I really needed help because my whole followers are in Brazil, and I needed to migrate my presence here to United States and internationally. And they're helping me with that. I'm so happy I have someone that helped me write content, do Facebook and all the ads and create articles. So I have a whole structure with them. So I'm so happy.
Wow.
And one of the webinars and teachers that I give is how to manage your tasks like a pro. And I think the big winning of this year was that I was able to apply this to myself. And I've been very efficient by applying the things that I teach. I'm very, very happy to be using Trello. Now I have a team of 8 people helping me out in different countries. And because I'm very organized, it's easy to ask for help in the area they're helping me and check the progress and share documents. So it's working. And because it's working, I'm able to teach people how to do it as well. I have so many things. I don't know. Those are the major things that I'm accomplishing. It's not easy to launch an app. I didn't know how hard it was when I got the idea. But I think we need to go together with the flow. The new generations, they want new things, and it's hard for us to catch up, but I'm going to do it. And thank you for all your support, guys.
Yeah. Fabulous. And actually, so Bettina sent me a congratulations card, and this is the rebranding she's talking about. Is that not cool? That is such a cool logo. I love
The
it.
idea was based on the infinite wisdom available in the world.
Yeah.
This was a meditation I made that the knowledge is available in the world, and it's our job to connect to the knowledge available and codificate in a way that the clients will understand. That's why the infinite wisdom it's meant to be. And I would like to recommend a book called Appreciation Marketing. If you guys want to listen, it's just a 2-hour book and tells everything about the importance of really caring about people and sending personal information. That's why I
Could
started
you
doing
share
that.
the pointer to that on Basecamp so that we can all grab that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fabulous. Excellent. All right, Chad and Suzanne.
It's been a slow year, but grateful for it. We had a lot of stuff outside of the business going on, but I appreciated the times I was able to make it here to learn from others and go, hey, there's similar headaches or those that are ahead. I appreciate the notes and the ability to reach out and go, hey, where are you at now as your, steps or miles ahead to shorten the learning curve. So appreciate the group there, but doing well in the hours and some clients, but just trying to balance things and go, hey, right now the business is one of the things that wasn't getting as much time.
So do you think that's going to be a big shift going into 22?
Hopefully we'll be able to keep doing more of that, but enjoying some time with the boys and the girls and my wife with the retirement from my wife from the Air Force earlier this fall.
Yeah, isn't it nice being able to actually have a life? And, the nice thing about something like coaching is you can choose the balance that you want. And if you want lots of clients and lots of business, you can go that direction. And if you want to do it as a part-time gig, you can do that. And
so thank you, Carl, for leading and for the all the peers that were more diligent in making it to this than I was. So thanks again.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, Suzanne, give us your update.
I wasn't expecting the year in retrospect thing. But
Well,
I'd like to think about that a while.
It's not like we're going to do a big official deep dive and criticize you if you forgot something. Come on.
Thanks. I appreciate you. Well, so I have not only more clients this year, my practice has grown some, but they're more aligned with some of them, more of them are aligned with the work that I really want to be doing. And the ones that aren't, it's just, it's interesting. They're more business and upper level corporate leadership kind of clients, and it turns out that when we really get into it, what they really want and need underneath it all does align with what I want to do with people.
What do you mean, corporate leaders are people too? What an
I
idea.
know. Who knew? Who knew? Jeez. But that their leadership goals align with the work that I want to be doing. And I just declared it actually for the first time really out loud this morning in a group that I'm in with some coaching colleagues, and it was really powerful. I'll share it with you here. I don't know if this is the time to do that, or is that later?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Love to hear it.
Okay. Given the journey that I've had thus far in what I like to call Earth School, my life, what is clear to me is that I'm here to coach the way home with people, whether they are towards the end of their lives or more towards the beginning. There's no reason why we can't feel at home in our lives, in our bodies, in our work, in the ways that we show up in the world and in our relationships. And my work is to support people in finding their way to home, to that place that isn't a physical place in the world. It's not a house. It's actually living in alignment with what matters most. And really truly aligning with that and feeling at home in wherever you are, and knowing that if you are pulled away from that sense of being at home with yourself and with your life, that you can always come back, and helping them to learn how they best bring themselves back to that sense of being home.
Suzanne, I'm a big fan of the power of stating things out loud. Because until you do that, it's just sort of knocking around your head in vague, fuzzy terms. And when you have to put it into actual words, then all of a sudden you hear yourself speaking that, and you can say, is that true? Is that complete? Is that who I really am? And so that's why with my clients, I'm a big fan of stating things out loud. And I believe that's one of the reasons why coaching works. And also writing things down, is that certain exercises, I have clients write it down because I see a very similar thing. And I do believe that's why coaching works, is you have to actually put things into words.
And embody it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, giving voice to it is part of that embodiment.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's huge. That's fantastic. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm at the doorstep of my PCC. I'm right there. Finally, thank you. I'm just finishing up editing the transcription and then sending it off to Tom Crapu, who is going to read it through, and then send it off to Newfield, get my NCC, and then from there the PCC. So the wheels are in motion, and they're turning faster and better than they ever have. So
Yeah.
And I really attribute a piece of that to knowing that this group is helping to hold me accountable. So
that's fantastic.
thanks.
So make sure that when you get to that crucial date, and you get the approval, that you let us all know so we can celebrate with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I shall do that. I appreciate it. I'm going to miss this group.
Yeah.
I really
Well,
am. And I know it will live on, but I've really so deeply appreciated your leadership, Carl, and the way that you show up as a leader, and as a facilitator.
well,
Me too.
I've certainly been working on my skills for that for sure. So, okay. Anything else?
I appreciate the rest of you too, and being in this together, knowing even though we're solopreneurs, we're not alone.
Well, honestly, that was one of the reasons why I started this originally, is that coaching can be a very isolating profession. We're all sitting in our basements doing work on Zoom and things like that. Not all of us, but that's a common model. And you end up just saying, am I the only one that hasn't figured this out yet? Because we all put on our best face in public. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this figured out and I'm making all this money. I'm very happy. And then when you go home and you're talking to your dog, and it's like, why is it that I'm not where I want to be? And so anyway, so
I'm
thank
not
you.
the only one talking to my dog, Carl. I thought it was only me.
And I don't even have a dog, but that's a different problem. So, okay, I'll give you just a little quick update on where I'm at. As Bettina mentioned, we had the celebration of the Chamber Business of the Month last Thursday. Went super well. I invited all my past and current clients that are in the area. And it's really strange because, probably 5 or 6 of them actually came, which is awesome. But I couldn't recognize them as clients or anything like that. And so I could mention that I had invited some, but people might have to guess who was or wasn't a client out of that, because it's, from my point of view, it's still a confidentiality issue. I can't say that somebody even was a former client 5 years ago, because that would be disclosing something that maybe they wouldn't agree with. So, but did get a bit of testimonial out of that, and lot of great energy. I think we had like 45 people, which was a great size for this group. And I gave away some free prizes. I gave away the final copy of my game that I had not gifted yet, and a couple of the little fish vases that I had bought, filled with candy. And that was fun. And I didn't try to explain coaching at all. I talked about my journey, what got me into coaching, what do I love about it. And I did mention what happened last year with getting into the Zoom production work. So that was kind of cool. So as far as progress this year, the major thing for me is I've become a lot more clear about what the next stage of my life is going to be like, the next couple of years here. And, I'll continue to do coaching as I can and as clients come to me, but I have the luxury of connecting with people as I want to, rather than feeling like I'm being forced into it, which is a very good position to be in. Makes me really happy at this stage. So, I will be spending a lot of time on my Rotary stuff. That's very natural. And so I've cleaned some other things off my plate to make time for that, so I don't have to be, working 80 hours a week, which I don't want to be doing. So as far as next year, so we do have a proposal for a new mastermind group next year. I'm not going to be leading it. Suzanne, when is the page going to be up so that people can start joining that?
Joining the group for next year?
Well, all the education groups.
Yeah.
When's that going live?
First of all, we're gonna shift to calling them learning groups
Cool.
instead of
I like
education
that.
groups because it's more of a verb, which felt important.
Yeah.
A good evolution. And we're aiming towards sometime the first 2 weeks of September. I wish of December.
Okay.
So be looking for it. I'm hoping to be able to put a link in the next newsletter, but if not, I'll put a link on Basecamp, and you can also just go to the website by the second week of December. It should certainly be there, and look at the education group area under events.
Okay. Fabulous. And the reason why I mention that, guys, is that this particular group has been very, very popular. Both last year and this year, I ended up forming 2 groups of 12 people, and there is a waiting list. And so there's a lot of demand for it. So if you are interested in joining with the learning group on the business development, then I would suggest doing it as early as you possibly can, because there's a likelihood it'll fill up in 24 hours or something like that. So keep your eye on Basecamp and on your newsletters and stuff.
It looks like they will not be offering 2 groups.
You're right, Beth. It's the current plan is you're just trying to limit it to 1 group of 12 people.
That's what it looks like they're going to do. Is
Okay.
Is 1 group.
Yeah. So, it may fill up very, very fast. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And, I've seen some of the other group proposals, but not necessarily all of them. So Suzanne's the master at all that. And so if you have any questions, she's the one to talk to. So,
and they're calling it Biz Development
okay.
Mastermind, Biz Development Mastermind.
Okay. Close enough. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the middle section of our meeting here. First, you said, Rule, that you needed to leave early. Was there anything that you wanted to have the group discuss? Anything on your mind today? Now that we have 2 of you.
I'm trying to kill this one. Oh, heck. Okay. No.
Okay. All right. Cool. So Beth, I know that you had something you skated over about, you said people were coming to workshops, but that's dropped off a little bit as you get back out of total Zoom mode and back into real life mode a little bit. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about there? You're on mute. There we go.
I don't know how that works. I don't know if now that it's cold, people will start coming to Zoom workshops, or if they're just burned out and done. That's what I would like to do, because I'm not comfortable doing large groups of people indoors. I've done like 6 people outside, and it's not as easy to do an educational event like that. So,
well, especially over the winter. So, okay. So Beth, what's your personal goal with doing these workshops? What are you trying to achieve and get out of it?
I really want to get a set of people who want to learn together and deepen their learning over time, to do like 6 or 8 or maybe even 4 sessions where I just feel like I have so much to share with people, and this material is really good, and it could help people with their relationships. It could help them be self-connected and focused and really live more wonderful lives. I know I'm being vague in my language.
No, that's okay. I mean, like I said, I think that putting things into words actually helps to clarify it for you. And that's why having some questions like this can be a help. So what I'm hearing is that you're trying to design like a workshop series, and you'd like people to engage by signing up for the whole series at once and then attending all 6 to 8 of them. Is that the kind of model you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's kind of 2 directions. One is just general people, who might be targeted coaching clients, but then I have a lot of facilitation skills and teaching skills from my background through being a teacher, and nonviolent communication has this huge list of facilitation skills that we learn. And so the other direction is maybe sharing those facilitation skills with coaches and figuring out how to apply it to sort of group coaching and workshop kinds of things with coaches.
Okay. And so it sounds like that's something different towards a different audience.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with the program that you're putting together, how many people would be ideal for attendees in this workshop series?
I'd like to have 6 to 8, possibly more.
Okay.
At least in that category, in that range.
Is there a maximum number of people or minimum?
So if it got to be more like 10 or 15, I might bring in a co-facilitator.
Okay. All right. So, and then what's the minimum number that would make it worth your time?
The low minimum number is 4. It'd be better if there were like 6.
Okay. All right. And how often would the group meet? Is this like every other week or once a month, or what kind of deal is it?
Either every week or every other week. And I'm also contemplating, I don't know if it would work, but there's a model of doing like a video one week and then an in-person meeting the next week. So
Okay.
contemplating some options.
Okay. Very cool. What other questions do people have for Beth? Has anybody put together workshop series? Any history of doing that?
We did a certification recently, was similar because we had like 6 sessions, wasn't it?
Oh, the Halos thing?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was 6 sessions in once a week at the same time. And it was originally designed as being a hybrid in person and on Zoom. And then life has changed. And so it ended up being a lot more on Zoom and less in person. But because Bettina had people attending from around the country, we needed to have that remote participation option. But the person leading that series was actually in Brazil because he wasn't able to get a visa to come to the United States. But it worked. It worked really super well.
How did you find participants?
So we did some webinars advertising it. So webinars are very nice if you can go to different communities and do free webinars explaining about what you're going to teach. After the webinars, we have scheduled one-on-one with each participants to explain about this, what was the workshops, the certification about, and then enrolling them individually and charging for that. So putting yourself out in groups, then finding who might be interested, inviting for one-on-ones is very important. I think people like to feel appreciated, that they were heard and understood, and just to confirm if there is a match, you know, between what you're proposing and what the person is looking for.
So, Bettina, how many people in the end did you have actually sign up for that 6-week series? Because what I saw was that typically about 7 or 8 people would show up, but I'm thinking that you probably had about 10.
Yes, we had
on the
10
list.
people, but some of them came and some of them didn't participate in all of the sessions. But it's very important for you to have a landing page. Jordan just put together a website, so he knows how hard it is. Like, you have to have a landing page, you have to have a paid method to charge people, to send invoices. And the landing page can be used in different strategies. I use a lot of time when we're talking with people, sending links to people on WhatsApp, on Messenger. Landing page is very important on the website, where it explains all the structure of the program, the background of the speaker. It's very important, the landing page, in my point of view. The payment method didn't work online very well. We wanted to give different discounts, coupons, and I wasn't able to put this together on time. So I invoiced them individually with the discount that we had. So without the payment method works if you have another way to invoice, but the landing page explaining and bringing relevancy on the content and speaker, it's very important, Beth.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking like 10 people or whatever, you can do each payment mechanism separately if you have to. You know, like, you know, I've pushed my coaching clients towards billing via credit card or debit card because I have a way to do that. But I still have one client that pays me via PayPal because that's most convenient for him. And, you know, it's fine. It works. If you've got 50 people, that becomes really painful to do something different for each person. But for 10,
I'm curious from y'all, what questions do you have about group coaching or workshops facilitating things like that? Are there certain like burning issues that people are wondering about?
well, for the content, I don't know that there's any limit on it. You know, that you know, it could be personal issues or professional issues or, you know, anything. You know, so the content, but to me, the structure of the program, it's like, so how does this thing run again? You know, what time zone is it in? You know, is this participating virtually or in person? Because now we have to ask that question. What do I get for my money? Okay, so is it like, is there a workbook? Is there some structure? Do I get access to a private discussion group? You know, all of those kinds of things that would be the features of your program. When does it start? When does it stop? Do I get a certification out of it of some kind? Do I get CCEs? Because that's important to some people, depending, you know, if you're doing this because you're like an HR professional or something, to say, yeah, you get HR CCEs and things like that.
Well, my question was just like, since we have coaches here, to just ask, like, if you were thinking about doing your first group coaching or workshops, like, what are your questions about facilitation? For instance, maybe someone is worried about what do I do when somebody's dominating the conversation, or maybe they're worried about, I don't know.
Well, yeah, being, how to be a great facilitator. That's like a great topic. You were going to say, Suzanne?
I was going to say, when I've led coaching groups,
Mary Jo Fain.
one of the things that I've noticed is really important to do from the very start is to set the group culture and come to some agreements as a group as to what the culture is going to be, what the ground rules will be, so that everybody feels safe and heard and seen and connected, and gets value. So
that makes a big difference. So that one of those ground rules might be, and you can co-create the ground rules, but you might have some that are, not non-negotiable, such as, we agree to give everybody room to share, or everybody gets at least X amount of time. Whatever, however you want to set that up, your structure. But there needs to be upfront agreements, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
that
things like
way you have some-
confidentiality, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What's the level of trust that we want to have in there? Because, if I'm going to a class, there is not that much of a presumption of confidentiality and trust, because I'm just sitting back and listening to the instructor and taking notes and whatever. But if we're like opening up and having a discussion and being a little bit vulnerable, then yeah, we got to have trust.
Right. What's said in the group stays in the group kind of thing. But also, when you have ground rules and kind of a group culture that's co-created, you have that to come back to if somebody's not honoring that. Yeah. And reminding them, okay, remember we set these as the ground rules and the culture, and you can even halfway through the duration of your group do a check-in. How are these ground rules working for everyone? Is there anything we want to change? Anything we want to update? How's the group culture feeling? And if somebody kind of disappears from the group, you can also reach out to them and say, how's this going for you? Is there something that's keeping you from showing up? Mm-hmm. Something about the group that we should talk about. Just check that there aren't any missing conversations there.
Setting the ground rules is so important, and keeping them in front of you. Mention them at the beginning of each session and reviewing them. Yeah, mm-hmm. Very important. Keeps the group running smooth, and gives you a chance to call people out if they're really breaking the rules. Yeah.
So one of the things that's interesting around this, in the facilitation context, that's something that's quite different. So I did executive facilitation for a few years in corporate environment. And I find there's a lot of similarity to coaching skills. But one of the things that's different is that if you're just the facilitator and you aren't the leader, then it's the leader that gets to set the ground rules and the culture. And the facilitator then has to align with that and, maybe call things out. But, especially in corporate environment, it's like, you look to the boss guy for setting the culture. And then, so they are like the leader of the meeting, or, the one who called it, that kind of thing. And they get to choose whatever culture they want to, basically, because they're the manager. And so if you come in out from the side and you're playing facilitator in that kind of environment, then you basically, what you have to do is to align with that. And so that's one of the discussions I have with the leader before time, is to say, how do you want this meeting to run? What's important? What is the existing culture? And do you want the meeting to be different than it? So So that's a different slant on facilitation, Beth, than perhaps what it means to be a facilitator of a group like this, where I define the group, so therefore I get to declare what the desired culture is and ground rules and stuff like that. And we talked about it at the beginning of the year, but it wasn't a big point of contention.
But don't you co-create that with a group?
To a certain extent, yeah. So, you know, at the beginning of the year, for those of you that were here, we did have a discussion around that, but it wasn't very contentious because you know, we all share the common culture of ICF Colorado and our training as coaches. And so therefore I was just building on that, you know, but, you know, talking about what's the level of confidentiality in our base camp group and things like that. Yeah, we talked through that, but it wasn't as big as if we bring in 10 random people from different walks of life who have never met each other before, and setting some good, solid ground rules around confidentiality. That takes some work.
Mm-hmm. But it's co-created, right?
Yeah, to a various degree.
And the other ground rules are co-created, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way I view it is it's a balance.
Okay.
Okay. Depending on the strength of leadership,
Yeah.
as compared with the strength of participants,
Yeah.
and the common culture that already exists. You were going to say, Beth?
Yeah. I guess I feel like the conversation went down a whole other
Yeah, it did.
avenue. So I'm curious, and I have experience setting ground rules. We even do that with elementary kids. So I'm just curious, before we go too far, if people who are, because that's like who I want to share this facilitation information with, is people who are maybe already coaching or new coaches and who want to develop more of those skills for group coaching and facilitation. So I'm just, curious again, are there questions people have, not you already know about facilitation, but things that are like, you know, as someone who's new to this, I really want to learn about that, or this really matters to me.
Well, I tell you, I could have really used something like that a few years ago when I was trying to set up my first group coaching group. And boy, I had a lot of failures and missteps. But I think what I perceive is there's a lot of members of our chapter who are thinking about considering or have done team coaching and group coaching kind of engagements. And, you know, each of those has different purpose and twists and turns and stuff like that. But a place where you focus just on that and say, what skills do we need to have as a team coach that is different than what you do as a one-on-one coach? Because I find that most of the coaching skills, schools teach the one-on-one coaching primarily, and not so much the group coaching, team coaching thing. And so diving into that as a specialty, because I think there's a lot of people who are considering using that as part of their offering.
Yeah, and it is definitely helps to have some practice and skill development and feedback.
Well, and so that may be a really great way to structure it, right? Is not just, I'm going to teach you how to be a team coach,
No,
but
it's
to say, let's practice it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's more of a mastermindy, workshopy kind of approach. And, you know, we're all on this learning journey, but where can you practice team coaching? It's like, I had no place I could practice that. I felt like I was just sort of making it up based on my experience in corporate life, which is why it was kind of rocky.
I think my question would be along those lines for you, Beth, would be, I have some experience facilitating, not necessarily as a coach, but like just from previous leadership positions. So I'd be curious, I guess, like how you confirm like a learning outcome, or how do you know like the time was well spent and that people were actually getting something for it? That would be something I would be curious about, like how you, I guess, just have that information and have that, like you're comfortable walking away from that. Like, I know that went well because these people were able to walk away with this learning outcome.
Yeah, being able to have outcomes and measure progress. Thank you.
Guys, I have to go.
Okay, thank you, Rule.
Just as it's getting interesting.
Well, we'll have the recording. We always have the
Okay, I'll
recording.
listen to it.
So just skip the first hour and you'll be good.
Okay.
So have a fantastic Thanksgiving, my friend.
Yeah, I'm having with my son. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Great. Good to see you, Rule.
Good to see you.
Good to
Bye.
see you.
Speaking of facilitating, I work with an organization called Thinking Collaborative, and I'm a trainer for Adaptive Schools, which teaches facilitation skills. And in the chat, I just posted, it's 300 and some odd pages of strategies for facilitating groups. It's on the thinkingcollaborative.com website. So enjoy. In our trainings, we use not all, there's no way we could use all of them, but we use these strategies, and then we keep a running list as we're facilitating the content, and then we keep a running list of all the things we've done.
That's very cool. So thanks for sharing that. For everybody, just so you know, if you say save chat, it doesn't save the files. It just saves the chat part of it. And so what you want to do when somebody puts a file into the chat is go ahead and download that to your desktop or wherever, so that you get it saved. And if Jenny is generous, she'll put it on Basecamp as well.
I wouldn't know how to.
You drag and drop your file over into a post and it sticks it in there. It's very easy.
You're welcome to post it.
Okay.
I'm going to need to peel off regretfully. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chad. Have a
See you
good
guys.
Thanksgiving for you too.
Thanks.
All right.
And I
Thanks,
have-
Chad.
I have a spreadsheet of the facilitation skills and like beginning, intermediate, mastery, and indicators, how you know when you've reached which level with the skills. And I'm trying to pull it up, but it's taking me a second.
Okay. That's a cool kind of tool. I think there's a lot of stuff out there, but I don't know how much of it does a good job of explicitly incorporating the coaching approach into teaching facilitation skills. So I think that's probably something that you can uniquely bring to it.
Yeah. And the way that I've learned the facilitation skills is through modeling, role play with feedback. So you have the facilitator role playing as it would be the coach, I guess, in this case. So everyone sees an example of the facilitation, and then you break apart. Someone else who's learning it does it and gets feedback from the facilitator, and then you break apart into the smaller groups to practice.
Yeah. Well, and if you want to talk about how we arrived at the learning approach that is now in all of our chapter meetings, where we do the triad coaching and those kinds of little breakout things. Suzanne and I are very on top of why did we do that in the first place and how has it developed over the last few years. So if you want to chat about that more offline, be glad to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Likewise.
Yeah, because I've been leveraging that concept into everything that I do now. Because it's the nice thing is on Zoom, it's so easy to do. And it's something that we've been using with our Northern Colorado group. You know, we have a monthly meeting up here, and you know, we incorporate these little triad coaching things, and it works really very well to get the deeper level of learning.
But I was looking here, I did a year and a half training on how to be a facilitator in the third sector. I was looking on my material, but everything is in Portuguese. It's so hard to translate the Facebook page and everything. So if I find something, I will forward to you that I can translate to you, like what they teach and everything. But I think the most important thing is understanding who is part of the group, what type of personality they have, how to communicate better among each other. This is an important thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else on this, Beth? This was a really good discussion, and we went several directions with it. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thanks. I just put the skills in the,
Thank you.
and it wasn't developed specifically for coaching, so I'll be doing translation and picking and choosing and stuff. But
Mhm.
an example of how to look at the facilitation skills and where you are on your learning curve.
Okay. Nice. Anything else? Okay, awesome. We've got a few minutes. Does anybody want to bring up another topic for conversation here?
I guess,
I would
no,
to
go ahead.
Jenny, please go. Go, Jenny, don't worry.
Oh, I guess I had a question. I guess, okay, now that I guess I have not moved forward because I haven't even known how to do it. So like how to charge money and how to get a website. And then when I think about, I signed up for whoever recommended, ICF recommended, you know, I'm like, oh, and then they've been kind of hounding me, but I don't even know, I would have to write the content to go on the website. I don't even know where to start for that, much less how to design a website, much less who to contact or who to trust to be able to advise me.
Jenny, if you want, I can help you out. I have a team in Brazil that has very accessible prices, and I can participate on the meetings with you, mapping what you want. We can do a site map. What information do you want in each area? And then you prepare the content in a Word document, and they put everything in a website for you. And I can help you translate, because the cost is worth here. It's so expensive to do something like that. And over there, you can save a lot of money.
Oh.
You can send me an email and we can organize a meeting. I can help you out.
Okay, thank you, Bettina.
Yeah, you know, a lot of this I've found is, you know, look around at websites that you like, particularly people in the chapter, because you've got an instant connection to any of them. And just, you know, look at their websites, and it's like, yeah, you know, if I change that to talk about me, that would be like really cool. And then there'll be a number of them where it just does not feel right for you. And then contact the person and say, you know, how'd you develop it? Who are you working with somebody? Because a lot of people have outsourced the website development. Most of us are not experts and don't really want to learn. A few of us are. I'm a geek, but you know, even I have outsourced my website. I could build it myself, but it's not worth it to me.
Can I share my screen with you, all of you?
Yeah, sure.
How do I do that?
Yeah, it should be down there at the bottom.
I have participants. Oh, sorry.
Should be the big green
So
button.
Jenny, this is the first step, I think. Put in a piece of paper. What type of information do you want on your website? Like Carl was suggesting, You just write it down. What areas do you want on your website? What information do you want? And you can be inspired by other coaches. Once you have this, we call it the mind map of your website, it's much easier to start working on the content. Then you can have the content, and then someone else can build the structure for that. And it's important to understand what call to action you want in each area. So for people who are reading your blog, what call to action do you want? What action do you want them to take? On the packages, you want them to schedule a one-on-one meeting with you. What do you want? On the contact, you want to receive an email, or you want them to call you, or you want to be contacted on WhatsApp. So it's very important to talk about the structure first and spend some time planning, sharpening the knife. Then it's much easier to move forward. But we can do this together if you want. I use a website, a very cool tool that we can do it online. And then I can send it to you, and you can quote with different companies.
Wow, thank you.
Tina, after all these years of being a coach, I still don't have a website. I was part of a group website for several years where I was in a group practice, but I don't have my own, and that's it's okay. But I think I connect with people more in conversations in terms of how I get clients, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't be good to have a place to send them once we have a conversation to say, if you want to learn more,
Yeah.
here's my link, and put it on my business card.
Yeah, it's basically your brochure, right? And
I think it's more like a legacy card, because on the website, you can put all the ideas, the projects that you don't work anymore, but you want sometimes to refer, like, oh, remember that workshop I did 5 years ago? Here you can find, so you can revamp new content, new ideas, and this will be like your legacy if you put everything over there.
yeah. But I think Suzanne's point is well put, is that you don't necessarily need any of this stuff to start coaching. Okay. There are plenty of coaches that have no website at all, have no great way to charge for money. So it's sort of hit and miss depending on each client. Even writing actual physical checks, there's people that still do that. I think the deeper discussion for you is, how do you want to engage with your potential clients? Do you want to do it through personal one-on-one contact, family and friends, networking groups? Do you like the idea of having a newsletter that you can then send to people, and so somebody gets 100 copies of your newsletter and then becomes a client? How do you want to do your marketing approach? Because there's going to be some of those things that really turn you off, and then others that excite you. And like Beth's idea of using the workshops as a way of building one-on-one clientele. Well, that's fantastic. Some people love doing workshops, and other people think that's the worst thing in the world. So you kind of have to decide what is it that you want to use as your marketing approach.
Yeah. After doing that, maybe if you want something simpler, Jenny, just having a landing page. I don't know if you know what a landing page is, but the landing page is something very simple. That's just a description of what you offer in one single page. And you can have a call to action on the bottom, like a course that you're creating. You can have the name of the course, the description, and a call to action for them to call you or to send a message, something very simple. You don't have to have anything complicated. It's important to do the first step of checking out how you want, and then create the tools to support your strategy.
Right. It could simply be a call to action that says, if you'd like to set up a complimentary discovery session with me to learn more about how I coach and to see if we might be a good match for a coaching engagement, here's how you contact me. please click here or whatever. And, here's my schedule, connect you to my schedule so you can sign up.
Wow, thank you.
So Jenny, what's your next step out of this?
Yeah, I think to, really realize I need to get clear on what I want to do. And, how do I want to engage with clients, really get clear. And contact Bettina, Bettina, could you put your email and Suzanne and you two in the chat?
Yeah, and just, remember all the time, each of those messages that I send out copies everybody. And so you can grab the email off that.
Okay.
So that's convenient as well.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jordan, too.
I have one question to make to all of you.
Okay.
I'm sad that Matt is not here because he probably could answer this question. Sometimes I get frustrated that I don't achieve the amount of income that I'm looking from coaching, and passes on my mind, why don't I find a part-time job just to have enough income to support my coaching journey? And I just apply for a tech company just for fun. But then I got so nervous. If I get this job, I'm going to be so busy that I won't have time to do things. And I saw you talking at the chamber saying that now you can choose the time you want to work and how you want to work. I want freedom, but at the same time, I need constant income soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to keep focus and still putting water on my seeds and believing that the coaching can bring me stability.
So my answer to that is that, yes, you have a choice to make. If you go get a day job, then that means you're going to spend a lot of time and energy on that day job, and it'll give you some income. But you then only have the time and energy to do coaching as a side gig, and have a family and have a life. Or you can delve in and decide that you want to do coaching as a more serious endeavor. Or you can do a model in between. I know people that have a 20-hour day job. So not 40-hour, but something more manageable that gives them freedom. So you can pick a level that you want to, but it's your choice, and you've got to commit yourself to that choice for some period of time, whether it's a year or a few years or whatever. You can't change your mind every month. So I think you've got the choice. I think you are super well positioned to have this be a full-time coaching gig, but yes, it takes a lot of work. Absolutely. You got to ramp up your marketing and sales effort even more than what you have. So that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Nobody else has an opinion?
Yeah, I'm kind of on that side of everything, Bettina, so I feel you. I actually started driving for Uber just in between, because the flexibility is I get to work when I want. And if I have a few meetings on one day, I can work around those very easily, versus like a few part-time jobs I was looking at. They want you, depending on where it is, right? Like you have to kind of have a commitment to them. So the Uber is flexible in that sense, and I'm still kind of figuring out like the right time to drive to make the most out of it. But so far, so good. That's been helping me, and so that's something maybe to consider.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking of looking for a corporate client that can bring more stability, because the individual ones in 3 to 6 months, they are ready, they grow and, and they're gone. They're not depending on me. That's what I want. But the corporate ones maybe can be a more stable thing.
Yeah.
Beth, you were going to say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I like that idea. I've been thinking about how can I connect with organizations that have membership already, and kind of the corporate idea is kind of like that. I think but it depends on so many factors. Like I quit my job in 2018 and have done this as a business and then some tutoring, and I tried a couple of side gigs, but they didn't really work out. So it kind of depends on where you're at. And so because I've been at it for so long and have been really below my income goals by a whole lot, I'm like looking for work again. But my ideal situation would be a job that pays well for, say, 20 or 30 hours, where it pays more than what I need to just pay the bills. And then I can use some of that time money exchange for, like what you were saying, have people help with your website or with your marketing or something. So if I had a little more money to put into the business, then it would be easier to then get to focus on the actual coaching or the actual, workshops. Because I spend more time on the marketing than the coaching and the workshops. And I really want to do the other, the pieces that I came here for, not just writing copy and sending things out and whatnot. But I mean, if you have that pile of money to invest in the business now and do it, that's another approach too. It just kind of depends on where you're at.
My opinion is that coaching is actually a very cheap business to start. Like I said, you don't even need a website. It's not money that's usually the biggest barrier. It's the energy and time. I think that's the critical resources rather than money. So I tend to focus on that a bit more. Is that, do you have the energy to both do a day job and your side gig of being a coach, and do you have the time to do that? Especially people that have like younger kids and stuff like that, is you want some good quality time with your family. So I think we sometimes use the money investment as an excuse, because you can spend as much money as you want to on coaching, but it doesn't, it can be remarkably cheap if that's the way you want to go, and still be reasonably effective, surprisingly so.
And another resource is social connections. Like what are your connections? And do you have people in your connection field or on the edges of it who would be good candidates for coaching and who would be able
But that can be developed. Okay. With energy and time, you can develop your network.
That's what I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, like, kind of all of us are, right? So Bettina, so where are you taking this conversation?
The energy and time is most important than income right now, because if I don't have the energy and time, my business won't go up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What can we do to support you on this?
Continue the group next year with you.
Well,
and we have the advanced version of it.
I'm not going anywhere, so you can always reach out, and we're in the same town, so we can actually have coffee or beer or something. So that's always a possibility. And then look for the learning group that Beth is going to lead next year.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you all.
Because she's much smarter than me. So
I'm thinking about what Matt might say, and I know that he's working on transitioning out of his day job
Yeah,
and
I was thinking
doing
about.
more coaching. And I know that he's had really great luck with Better Up,
Yeah.
to at least begin building sort of a foundation for enough financial stability to be able to transition completely into coaching. And I imagine, I'm guessing that he probably would like to have more private practice clients, but right now it sounds like he's doing quite well with Better Up. So it's something to consider as a supplement while you're working on building connections with private clients.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
but
had
Better
several
Up.
people in the chapter that have used that kind of thing. And,
Yeah,
with the idea that
Lyra and
eventually I'll have enough of my own clients and they'll be paying me directly. But
But Better Up requires ACC. And is there another company similar to Better Up that doesn't require ACC?
I'm
Because
not sure if Lyra does or not. Lyra. I'm not sure if they
Yeah,
do or not.
I haven't investigated them much, so it would
can
be
you say
worth
the
looking
name
into.
again, Suzanne?
L as in Laura, Y as in yes, R as in Robert, A as in alphabet. Lyra
Thank you.
or Lyra. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
I
But
was
there's-
so excited to get ACC. I thought it was going to be easy, but then I discovered that my coaching organization. It's not linked.
Well, but there is the portfolio method of getting the credential. And so the question is, do you have enough coach training hours that ICF would accept it?
Mhm. Yes, I do.
Because
And
they
there's-
accept non-ICF coach training hours.
And there's several people who have done that approach to credentialing, and you might just reach out to the chapter in the general area, send out a message, hey, if you've done your credentialing through this method, I'd love to connect with you if you're willing to share about what made it work for you or what the process was.
And I would also ask Walt too, one-on-one,
Definitely,
because he's
yeah.
well connected with each of the people's individual credentialing journey in the chapter. And so he may know of some people that have done various other approaches. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we have 3 minutes. So maybe like 30 seconds apiece. What are you looking forward to besides holidays and Great Turkey and whatever celebrations you have coming up? What does the future look like for you on your coaching business journey here?
Well, for me, getting my PCC is mostly going to be dependent on how long it takes for the wheels to turn at Newfield and ICF. I hope to have it before the end of the year. So there's that, and I want to find a way to put it out there in the world. I think I need to create a website to say what my kind of my mission is with my coaching and how it's connected to supporting people finding their way home. And so that, and opening the roads, for the path for more really well-aligned clients to come my way.
Fabulous. So connect with Bettina because she has a fabulous process for getting that website started.
Yeah, I would love to, Bettina, if that.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Who's next?
I think it's
Yeah, I'll go. I just
Okay,
want
Jenny.
I need to get really clear on what I want. And I need to I think I'm going to retire next year from my regular job. And I just need, what kind of life do I want to live after that?
So if you'd like to set up a call, Jenny, I'd be glad to do that with you. We can set up a Zoom call and talk through that a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
Okay, who's next? Bettina, did you start talking?
Yes, I think my plan is launching the app. I'm so happy I have launched this planner, Witchy Planner. I put all my methodology for a morning and evening routine here. And each person who signed up for the app will receive these and a calendar. I'm so proud that I was able to create like a product that they can take it with. I think Happiness Journey is my go-to. And I put the flyer here so you guys can know what it's the program about.
Fabulous. Thank you. Okay. Who's next? Beth, Jordan?
Go ahead, Beth.
Just keep developing this facilitation workshop. I think that's I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I think it dovetails well with the coaching work. Also keep looking into getting the mentoring so I can finish the ACC credential, and looking at role models like Bettina has such great marketing stuff. So getting more ideas for how to be clear in my marketing messages so that I can get people excited about signing up.
Fabulous. Okay, Jordan.
Yeah, ACC is on the horizon for me as well. And ultimately just being very open-minded and experimental and exploratory throughout this process as I, start to build this practice. And just so grateful for this opportunity to learn with like-minded people and people that have been doing this for a while and people that are just getting started. It's just staying open to the process, trusting the process.
Yeah, I've totally loved the great diversity that we've had in these groups and in the chapter in general. And it's been very important asset for me in continuing what I do. So, so this is our last one for the year. Like I said, watch out for the postings of the learning programs in the first half of December. And particularly if you're interested in the business development mastermind, sign up for that right away, because last year I was stunned at how fast these groups filled up. So watch out for that. But there's a lot of other groups in the queue there as well. So watch out for that. I will be putting together the CCE certificates. So I've been tracking attendance for the entire year. So I'll send out a specific CCE certificate for you. It's all resource development, no core competencies. We haven't spent time on that. So it's all resource development, but still it's a good investment of time, and I appreciate everybody's contributions to this. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and hope to see you at the holiday party on December 9th, I guess. And then we'll launch into the holidays after that.
Carl, is part of the holiday party going to be on Zoom, or is it all in person? I've seen a lot of emails.
I think is that it's a combination of the two. So I know that early on they were talking about doing in-person meetings at like 4, 5, 6 locations around the Front Range. And hopefully we can catch up on, have a little bit of that being on Zoom so we can talk together as a larger group. But I'm not hooked into the logistics of it, so I don't know how much of that survived.
And it's interesting, I just noticed in Basecamp, because I get all the notifications, that there's a conversation going on about, gee, with all the mask mandates starting to kick back in about indoor gatherings, maybe we should just do virtual. What do y'all think? And so we'll see. So I think the jury's still out.
It's changing rapidly. So yeah, I mean, this is the problem, right? Mask mandates are really hitting in, and I know a number of people have become a lot more conservative now and thinking, maybe, I've got small kids at home. Maybe I don't want to go out and meet in person if I don't have to. And we have to respect that. It is what it is. It's not fun, and hopefully we'll get back to some kind of normal next year. But right now it's kind of a pain. So, yeah, so stay tuned.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you
Thanks,
all. I
Carl.
appreciate
Thanks
it. It's
so
been a
much for
wonderful
doing this.
Great. Yay.
It's been a
Thank
great
you.
year.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow.
You all too.
All right. See you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.